Welcome to the Savage Beast podcast. We are on episode 3.
Yes,
Thing moving
sir.
along pretty quick, bro.
Damn, bro. Yeah, it was just a thought in our head and just came out of nowhere. It's 3 weeks in already, and I mean, I'm having a blast just talking.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. I was really a big fan of the last episode. I feel like we
Yeah.
got some really good conversation out of the last one.
Oh man, that shit was
And I feel like we're gonna have a lot of fun experiences to talk about after this one too. And then
yeah.
next week we'll be at a month. Crazy.
Jesus, man. Damn. It's just fun. It's just fun when things. I mean, again, like it's only been 3 times, but things start working together. We start like understanding each other more. Like we get better acquainted, and it's just like it's one of those things where like we can just tell people like just start. I mean, just start a conversation, start a podcast, start talking to people, because giving back and giving more will eventually help out and maybe build more connections for both of us and more like people will actually want to hear us and more fucking revenue for us, like shit like that. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes right into more confidence, right? Being more of
Yeah.
an educator, just stepping more into those roles, things that we spoke about on the first episode. That's like important to us,
Yes,
and
sir.
even just something as small as like last episode, we spoke a lot about just being in go mode and just being in action mode. So it's like this was just one of those things we decided to be proactive on. It's just like it doesn't have to be perfect to start. It doesn't have to have this crazy big production yet. It's just like fucking do it and figure the thing out as it goes. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
Everybody else does it. You know, we've done it in points in our careers, in our lives. So it's like, what's any different with this? Shit ain't gotta be perfect for time.
Yep. I think that's the one thing that's holding people back is they want perfect, and perfect ain't a fucking it ain't a construct. Yeah, shit perfect ain't fucking real. You know what I mean? That shit ain't real. Like just do it and you'll figure it out and it'll get better as it goes along.
Yeah, and you're sitting here trying to have perfection, and now a year goes by, and there's so much growth you could have had in that year, but you just wanted to sit here and think about it the whole
Yeah,
time.
exactly. And just go mode, bro. It's just got the green light. And I got a MacBook. Look at that. Like this motherfucker made me go get a MacBook. Got a MacBook.
I was just about to cue to that.
And look at it, like my screen is so fucking clear. Like I can see how good my beard looks right now, and I'm very impressed with myself. And I got a shiny ass fucking head, and I love it. Love it. And
Yeah,
my
man. If you're wondering why
audio doesn't suck. I don't sound like Megatron. You know what I mean? So that's also a plus.
Yeah, if you're wondering why Evan's screen looks so great and he sounds so great, got some business investments going on now, guy.
Got that MacBook shit. Got that MacBook shit. Everything's Apple now, bro. Everything Apple. Yeah, man. But let's
we got a fun. Yeah, man, we got fun topics today. Today we're pretty much going back into memory lane, but bringing that into our present today and just like it's like a reflection episode.
Yeah, I think I like this one. I mean, there's a whole bunch of like Instagram videos of like things I wish I knew before, like in my fitness journey. And I was like, you know what? It would be cool if like we talk about it and then we don't tell each other what it is and see if like things actually line up. They might not. And we might actually get to learn a little bit about each other and like help people like are that starting their fitness journeys and also like their coaching careers, because we're gonna dive into that also. So it'll be interesting. So I mean, I'll let you pick. You can go first. I can go first. I think we should start with the fitness journey stuff though.
I definitely want to start with the fitness journey stuff. Because that kind of leads into the coaching.
Exactly.
Because we all started our fitness journeys before our coaching careers anyway. So naturally there's some things that just kind of tie into the coaching.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get right to it. So the first question we have, well, not really question, but statement is the 3 things I wish I knew at the beginning of my fitness journey.
Yeah.
So I'll start this one off actually.
Cool, go.
So the first thing that I listed for myself was I wish I knew the concept of mobility and I wish I integrated it more into my training.
Nice. I like that one.
And when I first got into the weight room and stuff like that, I was very much like an athletic kid. I played outside a lot, but from football we were introduced to the weight room. And we didn't really, I mean, I know now, but we didn't really have the greatest strength and conditioning programming there.
Yeah.
Like shit was like a free for all. And it was just like Like now with the brain that I have today, and it was like, wow, this was really dangerous. Some of the stuff that was going on in here.
That's crazy. High
And even
school
at the
strength and
time,
conditioning,
like,
bro.
oh man, like even at the time when I was in there, I was like, I don't feel like all of this is completely right, but I don't have the brain to really know any different. But and in gym class, like in gym class, we had like weight training class or something like that, but it was very like generic type.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes into what I was talking about before, is like I was very much introduced to strength training by body part. So it's like, here's a shoulder exercise, here's a bicep exercise, here's a calf exercise, here's a quad exercise. So for years my view of training was very much I'm going to do this exercise for my quads, and I'm going to do this exercise for my biceps. And then what you start getting into like this weird thing of, well, if I train quads on Monday, I can't train it again. I can't do this exercise on Wednesday because my quads are gonna be like, that
Yeah,
bodybuilding
yeah,
mentality brain
exactly.
that you
Yeah.
have.
I already hit this part. I can't do this part. Oh, I can't. I squatted on Tuesday. I can't squat again until Friday. I can't lift. You get me? Like I'm only upper body for me. Shit. Like I remember those days, bro. You couldn't do
Bro, it's
shit.
such an unhealthy way of thinking, man.
Yeah.
It's just almost like, all right, I squatted today, and you might have only done like fucking 7 or 8 sets of squats, and then it's
That's
like I
it.
can't do anything
Yeah,
remotely with my legs until Friday comes. Like,
exactly. Yeah. I'll lose
and I
my
trained
gains.
like that for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And lose my gains. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just it's that old school mentality. It's that old school mentality, and it's also like the thing of like, I mean, you just see everybody do it, and I mean, the way I've always thought about it, and I'm a little different than you because I've always moved well, and I've always needed to move well because I did jujitsu, karate, Muay Thai. I've done shit where if I didn't move well, like I'm gonna get fucked. So like mobility was very important. Like I did bodybuilding stuff too. So like so stupid. It's like we use our body every day, but like I just nope, I can't lift that today. Like I'm not gonna be able to carry boxes today because I just hit legs. Like destroying your lower body and not being able to function. Like I don't know how people do that anymore, to be honest with you. That's just
Yeah,
wild.
me either, dude. Like I like being in the spot that I am with today, and just how I push like education, and I just try to like tell people don't make a lot of the mistakes that I've made early in my lifting career, because I feel my body today paying for certain things where
Yep.
I'm just like, damn, if I understood mobility and different ranges of motion, or just something as simple as like priming and prepping your body before like certain lifting and stuff like that. Like just because you're young doesn't mean you're bulletproof. Maybe you have more of a reduced risk of injuries than someone whose body's been through more, but that still doesn't make you like irresistible or immortal or some shit like that. So it's like if I just had, and I'm still young, so it's not like I'm feel like I'm old today, but in terms of how long I've been training, I'm 30 years old, and I've been at this since I was 13, 12 years old. So you're looking at literally half of my life has been in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more than half of my life at this point.
Yeah.
Um, Literally like in the gym, not even just being an active kid, like in the weight room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like over the last 3 or 4 years is when I started adapting like more of this mobility or understanding, training in a different light. So you take 16, 17 years of training, and over the last four, I would say I really like tapped into the brain that I have now.
Yeah.
That's a really
It's
it's not even half of my lifting career.
No, it's crazy. It's just crazy. And then I think injuries play a big role in that, and just starting to figure out like little nicks and ticks. And like the reason that you have those is a lot of it is lacking mobility or lacking integrity, being able to hold certain positions and stuff like that. And for people that don't know, like a lot of the stuff in the gym is very like it's not frontal, it's sad is in the sagittal plane. It's very right in front of you. You're going up and down, you're going forward and backwards. Nothing's very side to side or like rotational. So like those are different parts of your body. If you're not training to do that stuff, like you'll lack, and then that's how injuries happen because you're not able to do the different things that you need to do. You can be the biggest motherfucker in the gym, but if you can't fucking wipe your ass, you get me? If this is the most range of motion you can do to wipe your ass, bro, I don't know what you're doing, to be honest with you. I just don't get it. It's scary.
I actually love that you said that, because that was my second point.
Oh, okay.
My second point was actually I wish I understood the three different planes of motion.
There you go.
Like literally for those reasons that you
There,
just said, because a lot of the movements that we learn getting into the gym is forward and back or up and down.
yep.
Now, those are primarily going to be your strongest exercises that you can move the most load in, but ultimately it's like you're limiting yourself to so much of what the body can do. Your body can move in any possible direction that you really wish for
Nice.
it to move in. So now if you're really looking at it, like if someone's just training, I'll just continue to use bodybuilding and powerlifting for examples, because the movements that are focused in are very much up and down motions. Not even so much forward and back with them, which is another problem. It's really just straight up and down, just straight stationary work.
Yeah.
And then over time, people that train like this wonder why they lack in hip range of motion, because you don't do anything to expand your hips. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
The most you might do is like a wide squat, and that's only because your ankles suck. So you just make your squat wider so you can go lower.
You're just compensating at that point for the issues that you have. You're like, I can't squat narrow anymore. I'm just gonna squat wide or elevate my heels because my ankles suck, and I actually work on my ankles. Like it's just it's very interesting to see like how much, not damage isn't the right word, but how much we lack to see the full capabilities of our body because of vanity's sake. And I was literally just thinking this like the other day. It's just like, because we want to look good, we'll do all the bodybuilding stuff. Like we'll do all the get stronger, whatever like that, but we'll sacrifice our ability to actually move. But our ability to actually move will prevent us from getting injured, which will keep us in that sense of vanity. You know what I mean, which will keep us looking good. So it's just like a cycle. Like you don't move, you get injured, you work on your mobility, and now we're here where we actually do everything. And hopefully it doesn't bite us in the ass where we start doing back and forth. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's a weird trajectory to figure that out. It takes forever, really. But hopefully, like people actually listen to us and actually start from the beginning the right way.
And the funny part is just like when you, which leads me to my third point, since we're already kind of here.
We're going straight through it.
The way you did it just actually kind of transitioned right into my next point.
And mind you, people, he didn't tell me what we're talking about. So like
We didn't want to tell each other.
We're just gelling and we're just moving in the right direction. This is crazy.
Yeah, so we started off with me talking about mobility and then going into the planes of motion. And something that Evan said was people are doing these body building style workouts so they can look good. Now the last part that I have is I wish I knew the 6 fundamental movement patterns, which is squat, hinge, vertical push and pull, and horizontal push and pull. Because in training that way, you're still training all the muscles you need to look good.
Yeah.
So it's like when you train patterns, you're training muscles, but when you're training for muscles, you're not training patterns. It doesn't work the other way around.
I love it. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I got lucky in finding that out early in Syracuse, just because that's the way that they trained. It was I didn't have, I had the CrossFit phase, the just bodybuilding phase, and then once I went to Syracuse, it was like, no, we do things in patterns. We don't do things like whatever. And then we did powerlifting, but that was beside the point. So I got to see what the fundamental patterns are, and I programmed that for myself in a different light, and that different light changed the whole way my strength and conditioning like life went. And I think it just made it all better because people, again, like you're saying, like everybody's a body part split. And when you do the body part split, you're training for optimization of hypertrophy. You're not training for necessarily strength, depending, obviously. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that's something I wish people had learned earlier. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, man. And like I'm not against, but I know sometimes it sounds like I bash bodybuilding and powerlifting a lot. It's not that.
I'll bash the fuck out of CrossFit though. No. I fucking the one and only thing I love about CrossFit is their culture. They have an unbeatable fucking culture. Other than that, fuck you and fuck burpees. But continue with what you're saying. Oh, I got cramp.
Oh, that's still talking shit.
Oh, I call it cramp. I'm fucking with you. That's what I get for talking about CrossFit.
I
Oh, my
literally bit you in
hammy,
the
bro.
ass, dude.
Oh, oh, my hammy, bro. I am not even fucking with you. Oh, okay, I'm better now. That fucking sucked. Okay,
This is gonna be our promo.
bro.
Promo for this episode.
Fuck CrossFit. My hammy. The CrossFit
Perfect
God, the
timing, dude.
CrossFit gods got me. The CrossFit gods got me. Jesus, I am not fucking with you. That was one of the worst things I've ever gotten. I need water, bro. Fuck that.
Oh man. Yeah, man. It's just my big thing is just for people when they're training, just to understand like the pros and cons of everything, and just to be mindful of what you're doing. So just understand, like, if you want to dedicate yourself to a bodybuilding style of training, you're going to have to look for mobility in other ways, because the type of training that involves for bodybuilding doesn't promote mobility.
Yeah.
Same thing with powerlifting. The type of training you need for powerlifting doesn't promote mobility, because the ranges that you're using are very just like, they're very short ranges at the end of the day. They're ranges that can be compromised based off of lack of, let's say, ankle mobility, or just compensation that might exist because you don't train in patterns and because you don't train in other planes of motion. So naturally, your body is going to start to compensate in areas, because you start to lack joint strength and mobility in other parts of your body. And to take it a step further, if you just kind of look at the culture of bodybuilding and powerlifting, is very ego driven type stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
So like in bodybuilding, you're just trying to get the biggest as possible, because everybody battles body dysmorphia, and certain joints is just like you're loaded so much muscle on certain areas to where it's just like your lack of range of motion is literally just because you have too much mass there.
Yeah.
And then for powerlifting, it's as long as you can hit full range of motion on whatever it is, it's just like, all right, well, squat is stronger. Even though my ankles suck, I'm just gonna move my feet out wider, and I'm gonna put these knee wraps on. I'm gonna put this belt on. I'm gonna put all these tools and gears on to just kind of compensate for the things that I'm lacking. So now you're just kind of getting stronger on a weak foundation.
Yeah.
So this is typically what happens when the brains of these people that train that way. So
Mhm.
now over time, it's just like your bodies are ruined, because it's like you didn't really address certain foundational stuff, because you just kept putting band-aids over things
Yep.
and continue to train over them and get stronger or there, or place more mass on these things. And then eventually it really does start to reveal itself.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna
I
add.
went through it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add just one thing, and then I'll get to my points. One thing on that is there is no con with adding mobility. Zero con. Like, I think people think like, if I'm more flexible, it'll inhibit flexibility and mobility are two different things. But if I'm able to move better or something like that, like, it will affect my gains or affect my ability to do certain things. But what you don't understand is that because you're compromising, you're putting band-aids and you're doing all this extra stuff, and you're not working on your mobility, it'll cause you injury. And then what's the first thing that the PT tells you to do is to work on your mobility. You know what I mean? And that's the only way to get back into the game. So the more mobile and the better you move, the longer time you will be able to perfect certain movements in the sport that you guys want to do, and be able to do it in a longer sense. The best people that do powerlifting, bodybuilding, CrossFit, and all that stuff stay healthy the longest. That's why they're at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're never injured because they take care of their body, and they do that by not just mobility, but different ways. So that's why I'm saying I don't think there's a con to mobility. You know what I mean? I just think like some people take too long to do it, but there's always ways to add it in. You know what I mean? You don't need to take an hour to do it. You don't need the mobility coach. You just need to sit in a squat longer. You know what I mean? Open up your hips, fucking work on your ankles, work on your rotation, rotate your spine daily, and check marks. That's it. Don't gotta take long. You know what I mean? Don't sit on the foam roller for fucking 25 minutes and do no mobility. That's also the thing. I'm not gonna get on a tangent because I know we gotta get going. But I fucking hate people that sit on the foam roller for 30 minutes and then don't stretch afterwards. Like, that shit pisses me off, especially that you're on the phone, like, non-intentionally doing it. Like, look, man, if you're gonna be on the foam roller, foam roll your spot for 2 minutes, like what foam rolling does is that it opens up flexibility for a certain amount of window. Okay, use that window to stretch and mobilize so that it's a little bit more lengthened and you can access more range of motion. Stop bullshitting on the foam roller, people. That's all I'm saying. And that's not my point. I'm not segueing into my first point of foam rolling too much. But my first point for something that I wish I knew super early in my fitness career was building muscle should always be the fucking goal. I think like when I was younger, I was the fat kid. I wanted to lose weight. I used to train just to lose weight, then eat to lose weight. You know what I mean? Instead of like thinking about building muscle that will eventually get me to the point that I wanted to look like. So, I mean, it's just this constant bias is morphia of like, I needed to lose weight to get to X instead of build muscle that help me get to exactly where I need to go. And then it was the time of like powerlifting where like I wanted to gain as much mass as I wanted to do, but then I was never happy with what I wanted because I wanted to gain just mass. You know what I mean? But if I actually trained for strength and train for muscles and gaining as much muscle as I could instead of just fucking stuffing my face and getting fat, I mean, I think that could actually help me better on throughout my life. So a lot of people try to lose weight and then don't eat enough, don't train hard enough, train super light weights, never gain enough muscle, but like they'll look skinnier or look leaner. But the more muscle you have, the easier it is to look leaner. And I think that's something that never really clicked in my head until like recently. Like if I really just thought about gaining as much muscle as I possibly could at all points of my career and like in all points of my life, I think that really would have helped me be way further ahead than I am right now. I mean, I'm not saying like bodybuilder style. I'm saying just like lifestyle. Just, I mean, I think I'm doing fine, but I think it would have been a lot better to understand that earlier on. Yeah, I think it's just.
When would you say that kind of registered for you?
I really registered probably like 3 years ago. I think when I looked in the mirror, I did not like the way I looked, and I was like, you know how it is, like, this is actually my next point. It's just like, well, I'll kind of segue into that, but like, I was just like the fat strength coach. Like, I didn't look good. You know what I mean? Like, I would claim like I'm strong as shit, but like I didn't look like I had any real muscle on me because I was holding too much body fat. I mean, because I would fucking not, I would train hard, but I wouldn't eat to perform. You know what I mean? I would just fucking do whatever. I also hated cardio. So now I make the excuse of like me not doing cardio. You know what I mean? Is me getting a little bit stronger. You know what I mean? But that is not how it goes. And I think that kind of goes into my second part. Like, you should always condition. Always condition. You should always do cardio. There's no thing of cardio kills your gains, but because what happens is if your cardiovascular system works is at a high level, you're able to recover more in the gym, which makes you perform better, which makes you get more sets, makes you recover faster in between your sets, which makes you recover faster day to day. You know what I mean? All these people like are a shape or want to be like a certain shape and stuff like that, but they can't walk up the stairs without breathing heavy. You know what I mean? Because they don't have any conditioning. So that's also a thing when when I looked in the mirror, I was holding so much body fat and not holding enough muscle and stuff like that, I mean, I was just poorly conditioned. So that kind of just really clicked for me. I think cardiovascular helped out a lot. And I think this goes to a lot of strength coaches. There's a lot of fat. I mean, I don't want to be fat phobic or whatever like that. There's a lot of just strength coaches that just don't look like strength coaches because they don't condition. You know what I mean? Like if you want to be, you have to be your own billboard at some points. And I'm not saying you have to have a 6-pack or whatever like that. You have to show these people that you're able to do certain things and be able to be conditioned in a certain way. So that's my thought process.
Just to jump in real quick, I always found that very interesting with like the don't do cardio, it kills your gains. And I'm like, well, every athlete at some sort has to have an aerobic base to perform, dude. I know football isn't like a highly aerobic game, but they still have some aerobic capacity. Basketball players have aerobic capacity. Soccer players who are jacked out of this world with like their legs and shit like that. Crazy aerobic capacity. But you look at these guys and like they're doing ATG split squats and they fucking can do Nordic hamstring curls like no one's business, bro. Like, and it's like these people have an aerobic base, but they just strength train.
Yep.
It might not be. You know what it is? I think it's kind kind of goes in probably in one of my philosophies. I really don't think people need to strength train 5 days a week.
No.
But I do think people need to exercise 5 days a week. But I think with some people it's just like they just focus only on the strength training aspect,
Yeah.
which kind of goes into what we spoke about earlier with all these overcompensations and people um not pretty much just beating their bodies up because it's like you're just focusing on one aspect of fitness for themselves, and it's like you're lacking so many other things. So the longevity of how you start to look over time really starts to play in. So it's like, no, there should be space in your fitness journey for aerobic work and mobility work. And when you do strength training, you just hit that shit hard and you do it right to where you have to recover from it. And you have other things to do within the week. It's not like, oh, I did strength training. What else is left to do? There's mad shit to do.
There's so much shit to do, bro. There's so much shit to do. And I think that as I'm getting older, I mean, you know how it is, and you did the same thing. Bodybuilding, you're in the gym 6 times a week. Okay. When I did powerlifting, I was in the gym 5 times a week. Now, as I'm getting older, like I'm understanding that I'm making the most out of my time. Right now, I'm only strength training 2 times a week, and I'm doing BJJ 3 times. So like it just depends on what you want. Like the most that I'm strength training is 3 times a week. Other times I'm walking, doing some form of cardio. I'm doing some form of conditioning. I'm doing other shit that will help benefit my life entirely instead of just being in the gym constantly and just strength training. And even when I'm strength training, I'm still conditioning. I mean, I'm still like
Yes,
taking
you are.
10, 15 minutes out at the end of it, especially to do conditioning. I'm also now on my fucking phone when I'm doing that stuff. Like I'm taking 3 to 5 minute rest periods in between, maybe even shorter, depending on how easy the day is. So like I'm managing my heart rate, but at the same time I'm able to condition while I'm strength training. So it's just very interesting. And I think this goes into my last part, and I like how this is also like kind of flows, like eating and training to perform. Because I think like it goes back into the thing of like you eat to train to like look a certain way or be a certain way. But like you also got to think like athletes or people want to look like athletes, but aren't able to eat, okay, and think and recover like athletes. I mean, they don't do the things that they work. They just be like, oh, athletes go to the gym all the time. I go to the gym all the time. I mean, but they don't look like the athlete. And I'm not saying you're ever going to look like them, but do you eat the same way that they do? And be mindful. I've been through seen a lot of athletes. These motherfuckers will eat Skittles before game time. Don't like eat exactly like them, but the highest performing athletes, okay, have nutritionists and have a certain diet and follow a certain plan. Like instead of thinking about eating and training to look a certain way, think about eating and training to perform at your highest level every day. And then at turn, you will start looking the way that you want. And I think that's also the thing that clicked in my head a couple years ago, was just like, I need to start eating and recovering to be able to perform at a high level the next day. Because if I didn't perform at a high level the next day, how am I able to get the most out of my training? If you're not getting the most out of your training because your nutrition sucks, I don't know what to tell you. You're probably one of those people, but like, I train hard, but my diet, like I go out every weekend and calories don't count on the weekend type shit. Like, no, like even though I'm very flexible with my diet, like I understand that if I need to sleep my 6 to 8 hours to make sure I'm able to perform, make sure that I'm eating the right things and not drinking this and not drinking every fucking night to be able to perform. Because those being able to perform even at my job at a high level and like have the right mindset to do this stuff, like helps me through everything. I think that's kind of like having a good relationship with food obviously helps, but thinking about if I want to be an athlete today, how do I have to work to do that? And every aspect of my life has to kind of mirror that.
Yeah, when you're training your body for performance, you literally get the look that you're asking for. Because they coming from performance, like now you're looking at, all right, my aerobic system is in place, my strength foundation is in place. In order for me to have a strength foundation, I need to have a solid musculature or lean muscle mass to my physique. So all of these things are going to help you in the performance aspect. Your sleep, your recovery, the way that you're managing your stress, all things that are going to help you perform. If you can perform better, that means the effort that you bring to your workout sessions are going to be a higher output.
100%.
which naturally means that if you have a higher output, you can bring more intensity, and we know that hard work is going to get you results.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just like you kind of see how all of these things just kind of move into the same direction. It's like my logic, especially over like the past 2 years, has really just been like, I mean, it's in the name, building beast, right? Same way how you have Simply Savage. It's like I'm going to make myself a beast all around because
Yep.
that's going to ultimately give me this look and feel that I want.
Yep.
If I'm operating at high speeds and I'm eating high quality stuff, I'm getting in my recovery, I'm taking care of my stress levels, I'm managing things better. Like all of these things are helping me perform better in my life, which is
Yep.
going to make me perform better as a human. And I've been having some of the greatest sessions in the world. Like I've been feeling some of the best that I've ever felt before. And I'm just like looking at how everything is going. It's just like I'm I'm just creating a well-oiled machine for my body.
Yep.
And now I'm like, people always like, yo, your arms, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. I've never really liked training arms that much in my life,
I,
but I've done a shit ton of rows and pull-ups, and
Mhm.
all this kettlebell work that I've been doing has been making my grip and my shoulders and everything just thick and strong. And I'm like, I've just been training to perform, to do some savage ass shit.
Yep.
That's really what it is,
That's
bro.
100% it. And it just to leave it off because we want to keep this going because this fucking talk is great. But think about eating and training to perform. Stop thinking about eating and training to look a certain way. Because once you understand that it's not all about vanity, it's about performing, the vanity will fucking happen. Pure and fucking simple. That's it. So stop thinking about that end goal and start thinking about performing. And not only, like Terrance said, like your trading will be the fucking best, your life will be better 100% of the time.
All right, well, this leads us into the career part of this conversation. So the same way how we did the 3 things we wish we knew at the beginning of our fitness journey, we're doing the 3 things that we wish we knew in the beginning of our coaching career. But let's change the order a little bit. Let's actually go first with the 3 things that you wouldn't change about your coaching career.
I wouldn't change first. You want to go that first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that first.
Okay. I guess I'll go first. So the first thing I wouldn't change. I think the first thing I wouldn't change was prioritizing internships and mentorships. I
Mm.
think that really helped me understand what I can be and what I was capable of. I think the quick story, my last internship, like you know how like you go to like undergrad and your last semester is usually internship. I hated my internship. Like the dudes were assholes. They didn't teach me anything. They basically put me to work. Sometimes I didn't eat. I was there from like 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock at night and had school. Like it was miserable. And I hated being in that environment. But that desire and hate that I had helped me and reminded me of like the connections that I built with other people. And the connections that I built with somebody led me to Syracuse. And then
Mm.
Syracuse was like only 10 weeks, and it became 10 weeks to a year. And I really got to see what college athletics looks like. I got to see what high level strength and conditioning looks like. I got to see what actually structuring a whole team and managing everybody looks like. And then if it wasn't for that, that wouldn't have led to LSU. That wouldn't have led to where I'm at now. So I can't tell you the amount of power the internships had in my life. And I usually tell a lot of people like that are going away, like they're a lot in school, whatever, like take small internships and then take a big one, and especially take one that moves you away from home. I think
Mm.
that's a real big thing for me. Like get the fuck away from from a safety net and figure yourself out and see if you can handle whatever job you're gonna go to. And I know our job's a little different because like we can go basically anywhere we really want to, but for anybody, like take an internship that's leading you out the fucking state, leading you out like far away from anybody else. But first thing I want to change is the amount of internships and mentorships that I had.
Okay. What about your second thing?
The second thing is taking the private route. So this goes into like the thing of like going to LSU and going to Syracuse. I've always wanted to start my own business. I've always wanted to do something on my own. My life goal is to have autonomy, and I have that right now, which puts me in a really good place. Like I take my dog to work. I get to make my own hours. Yeah, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, but fuck it. Like, I mean, that's just part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But taking the private route was a big decision for me in the sense that I could have stayed in college. Like I could have got a couple other jobs. I did get a couple other offers. But one thing a lot of people don't understand with college athletics, and I'm telling people that are interested in college athletics right now, is that your life becomes that team. Like your entire life becomes that team. Syracuse, I was there from 4:30 in the morning to 4:30 at night, and I worked at Dick's. And while I was at Syracuse, I lived in a closet on an air mattress, okay, with a Batman curtain as a fucking door. You know what I mean? Like with a small TV. And right in Syracuse, it fucking snows like 8 months out of the year. And I live next to the kitchen, which was right outside, and I will have snow coming into my room sometimes.
Damn, bro.
So it was a shit show. But like I wouldn't have changed it, but it told me how life would be. Obviously, I would have been paid. I wasn't paid, but and then LSU was the same thing. Like I went 4:30. Sometimes I had class at 3. I had class until late. I had to do homework. I had to do all this stuff. And I hate school. Like I fucking hate school. Like I'm telling people right now, master's is easier than undergrad, but I still hate school. I still suck at it. And I got my master's degree. So thank God. But it was the same thing. Like I had no life, zero life. My life was making sure that all my entire team was fine, making sure that the head coach got everything that he needed done. Like my whole life was LSU. And I just couldn't do that. I needed individuality. I needed to have my own freedom, and I needed to have time to myself. I'm naturally introverted, and I know you are too, but I needed that, and I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's taking the private route really helps me out. But I would always tell people to try to go to college route just to see it, because there's no other environment like it. I loved it, but I couldn't do it for the rest of my life. Okay. The third part, I mean, I don't have a lot of, again, like I told Terrance, like I have a bad memory, so I won't have like pivotal moments that really changed my life other than like those huge times and stuff like that. Like I don't have like I remember this exact point, but I think starting online, my online thing is something that I wouldn't change. I think it's the first taste of starting my own business, even though like I do work at Alpha, and I do have my own PTs and have my own groups and shit like that. But I think starting the online thing and like understanding how to ensure that people are happy, making sure like I learned how to handle online business, and continuously growing that, learning how to market, learning how to do all this stuff, like are all attributes I need down the road. So if I can, or maybe like this takes me somewhere different, or takes me somewhere further. But I think all these attributes are things that coaches don't have, or coaches don't think they need. Well, now they do. Everybody talks about this shit. But like when we were going to school, like nobody, like it was all systems, like energy systems, this and this, but it was never about opening up your own business, because there was no thought process around it. So now I get my feet wet into it. I start understanding how to run things, understanding that things are on my shoulders. I get to pick my own hour. Like it's just it's good to have these fucking attributes. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. So for me, the 3 things I wouldn't change about my career, the first thing that I have is actually how my career started.
Sure.
So I spoke a little bit on the first episode on I jumped into the fitness career from losing my security job that I had at one point, and I ended up working at the gym that I would train at. So I actually ended up working just as like somebody behind the desk. So I was like making protein shakes, ringing up memberships, the whole nine. And then that led me into becoming a coach. But I was never hired there. I was always an independent contractor before I even knew what the hell independent contractor meant. So I just knew it was just like, hey, you get certified, you can train people here and charge them and like do your own thing. So now looking at that today and soon, not too long, soon after doing that, it's like, holy shit, I'm my own business. So it's like I kind of fell into being my own business without like necessarily like going in there with that expectation. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh, okay, I can start training people, whatever, blah blah blah. So I've always had that independent route, and I've always had that self-employed slash small business owner situation, because I don't even want to say mindset because it took a couple years for me to actually even understand what the hell I was kind of doing. But I just knew that I just had freedom to do stuff. So I do love that part of my career, and I felt like there was so much that I learned in responsibility, so much that I learned in terms of managing, because it's like I had no choice but to kind of figure it out, because it was just like it was all on me at the end of the day anyway. And
Yeah.
even the gym that I was at was a very, for the most part, the average person that walked in that gym had like a serious mindset of wanting to do fitness, because it wasn't like we after a while we started getting people that were just kind of like general population, but even that style of general population was kind of like more hardcore fitness people,
Yeah.
but maybe like a few people who was just like really in the area. So I always kind of got to see that environment of people that was just like hard workers. So I didn't really deal with like a lot of the entitled people, or what some people might look at as like the lazy clientele, or it was like everybody who kind of came in there just wanted to work. So
Yeah.
that was like that kind of helped me create that aura for myself moving forward, and that was kind of easy in how I built the word build a beast for my business too.
Mhm.
So that's always something that I've been grateful for, because I felt like that environment kind of created what this brand is too. And
Yeah.
then mix that in for me coming from like playing football and then being around, like I've always kind of had like we got to it, like that type of energy.
Mhm.
Um and the other thing I went and changed in my coaching career was my college years. Now I didn't finish college, but I did make it to I got past my undergrad, and I did a little bit of work approaching towards my bachelor's. But in the process of it, like the most important, well, to scale back a little bit, I wanted to go to college because I wanted to learn more about the human body.
Yeah.
And I knew that the environment that I was in, I felt like I couldn't learn much more in the training aspect of where I wanted to go. So the conscious effort to me, it was like, I need to be around another environment that's going to allow me to see training in a different light, and that's going to allow me to learn the body a lot further than the knowledge, resources, and education that I have. So that was a very conscious decision, to where I was like, I want to do what I'm doing 10 times better. And I know like that was a space for me to go. Um, the main thing was like, let me learn anatomy and let me meet some people that know something about something, and maybe I can figure something more out in this career. And in me doing that, I was a really good student. Like, and like when the professors always laughed at me because like I just always fell asleep. But like anytime it was like practical time, I was like super hands on, super knowledgeable, super helpful, and I was just like a student. And I never went there letting people know that I was a coach already. I just
Mhm.
wanted to look like I started school a little bit later, and I was just trying to find like a new career path.
Yeah.
It wasn't till like the tip end of me leaving that a couple people found out like, oh shit, you coach already. And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it for a little bit, but I always just kind of wanted to go in there egoless,
Yeah.
be in a position where I was the one that had to listen, and I was the one that had to soak up information, because ultimately what I'm trying to do is bring this back to what I do and make it better.
Yeah.
So I had a very unique setup of, I was going through school improve what I'm already doing, opposed to someone going to school to get in the field. I'm already in the field.
Mhm.
And now the schooling, I'm just kind of like, as I'm already in the field and working with people in real time, I'm just taking what I'm learning here and I'm applying it literally in real time. So it was like, it was a really, really cool, unique situation for me, where some people was like, they have all this information, but they have nobody to work with. And I'm like, shit, I got a whole bunch of people to go to
Yeah,
tomorrow. So it's like everybody's programming is changing right now.
that's
So that's
dope.
very much how I learned my field is like I had these group of people that I was working with. I was in school taking everything that I was applying and I was now bringing it to real life literally like within the next week.
Mm,
And everybody that I was working with was well aware that I was in school and everything like that. So I've always had a good rapport with my clientele to where it was just a very understanding of like where I'm at, where I'm going, and I just treated people well and I just gave a good service. So at that point, it's like your clients were just growing with you.
yeah.
For a lot of the people to see like even the growth of where I am today, and it's just like, damn, like I've been there for these stages of him, like literally watching him go out in the world to bring back to the business that he has. So I'm super grateful for my school years. I built some amazing fucking relationships. My internship experience was fucking phenomenal. I interned at the Somerset Patriot Stadium, where they had like the Robert Wood Johnson
Yeah.
hospital up there. And I was when I landed in that internship, I was at a space in my career where and in my training where I knew I wanted to go a different route in like exercise and fitness where it was kind of like more movement based, but I didn't know what that fully looked like. And then I got there and I was like, shit, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's where I was learning about movement patterns and mobility and different, and I was actually understanding the planes of motions and literally like realizing like my powerlifting strength wasn't making me well-rounded strong is because I was just focusing on being strong in three exercises and just training in strong positions, but the rest of my body was weak. Bro, I couldn't even do skaters at one point.
Oh, damn.
It was that bad for me. Like seriously, I couldn't like they had me doing skaters jumping from side to side and it was like I'm falling all over the place. I had no balance and I was squatting 500 fucking pounds at the time, bro.
Crazy. It's crazy. You ever seen these videos of just like these high performer like strength athletes doing like baby shit and like they just can't function. They're just so not used to doing like the small intricate things or like even like walking barefoot. Like these people like are so
Bro,
used to be constricted. It's crazy. So I can only imagine, bro.
it was so bad for me. Even like a side plank, difficult.
Yeah.
And I'm not even exaggerating. Like these are things today that are very regular in my training. Like now I balance on one leg in a foam bowl and I like throw a tennis ball comfortably for like minutes at a time. But at one point it's like I couldn't even hop off of one leg without losing balance.
And
And like it's really like humbling thinking about that shit today.
it's almost like it's almost like a sense of like embarrassment, and that embarrassment can be a form of pain where it's like, oh shit, wake up, like I'm not like the actual monster that I thought I was. Like I can do these three things, but like you give me anything else, like I can't fucking function. And it was just like it's like this moment of just like holy shit, like I need this needs to get better. And then
Yeah.
that sense like transfer you to become the person that you were. Like that's like a pivotal moment of like, holy shit, like this side plank is fucking insanely stupid. Like I can't do this shit. Like that's fucking crazy.
And to me, I look at these as very like basic fundamental things that someone should be able to do. And I'm not even saying it like I was someone who just started their fitness journey because I wouldn't be so hard on myself. I'm talking about me being this very active, strong individual who like was in the gym for years. And then to put me through some of these things, and I'm looking back at myself like I had no frontal plane training at that time. Frontal
Mm.
plane training to me was probably lateral shoulder raises. Like,
that's
so
only,
it's
that's
like,
only what people know, man. That's only what people know. So like, what's a lateral lunge? What the fuck is that? I had like a new guy today, like
terrible at
lateral
those.
lunges. He's like, I don't know what's going on right now. It's like I can't balance. I was like, because you don't know, because you have no idea how to move to the left or to the right, bro. Like your ass, like to turn, you have to like move your whole body this way. Like people can't rotate, people can't step to the side. It's crazy. And it's like it's super embarrassing. I hope the pain of the embarrassment helps people wake up and be like, all right, I need to kind of like try different things and get out of my realm of comfortability and move differently. I think that's very important.
Yeah, and that kind of led into my last point. My last point was just the relationships I have built. That's one thing I wouldn't change about my coaching career, even from, when I went to the situation where I was employed. I still built good relationships from that, and I had great experiences there. I've had good experiences and bad experiences everywhere that I've went, but it's been all a part of my journey where I learned so much. And some relationships I have, that at one point were really amazing, and there's some relationships that I still have today that are fucking fantastic from me just doing this thing that I love, that just started from me working out like at home and doing it for sports reasons, like turning this into a career and actually making friends. The fact that you and I are doing this,
Yeah.
like, this is a relationship that we've built through us having careers. Never worked together at once. The closest would be the internship that we've done, and now doing like the coaches vault and these things. But we've always been networking and building in that sense, but we was never under the same gym, like killing shit together or something like that. So it's
Nope.
just amazing to see like how far this is taken into just like the ecosystem that's been created around me. So that's definitely something I wouldn't change in my career.
I think people need to realize how important networking is, because you never know when. I mean, it was something like this can never happen. Yeah, I mean, and just like
Mm-hmm.
having that relationship with people and having that sense of like passion for like the same thing. Yeah, I mean, like keep those people fucking close, because you never know. I mean, Terrance and I went on fucking vacation together, and we were like, we barely
Word,
approached each other. Like it was just crazy how like
word.
we fucking grow in just a sense of like being like, um, not even work friends, like fucking networking friends. You know what I mean? Like just knowing somebody else. This is crazy. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you more than you know, and I'm grateful that we get able to
Likewise,
do
bro.
this. So, but yeah, I mean, those are good. Those are great threes. So let's do like some let's do like some fast ones so we can get all this stuff in within like an hour and a half. That was probably we are killing this fucking one. But let's go real quick with this one. So let's go. Which one did we do? We did things that
The
went.
three things I wish you knew at the beginning of the coaching career we didn't do.
We didn't do. Let's do that one. Okay.
These
And
are quick for me.
these are kind of quick for me too. So these actually didn't take me that long. So number one, for me, programming isn't fucking super important. Yes, programming is necessary, but people freak out when they can't program. But once you understand that if you have a why and it's backed up by science and the way that you write it or whatever like that, bro, it's fucking easy. Like I program like in like 5 seconds. Like, what do you want to do today? Boom, cool, we'll do it. Like in the beginning, it was just such a fucking. I was a nervous wreck to be in front of somebody programming and then trying to explain it why. Now, I mean, boom. And like I think it's the thing of like we make a bigger deal of programming than what it needs to be. As long as you have the science and you have a why for everything you write on the board, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters as much as people give it credit for. Okay.
That's a great answer.
Second one is your niche comes with time. And I know us as coaches want to jump into a niche immediately. And I think we do need to. Like I think it needs to be a thing of like, I want to work with these people and try to grow it. But I think people stay in their niche too long, even if it's failing. So I think you need to understand that niches take time, and it takes time to develop your own coaching style. So like sometimes that changes, and then your niche also changes. So don't feel stuck by your niche, and don't feel like you have to immediately jump into one. You know what I mean? Like work generally, then start understanding who you want to coach, and then that becomes your niche, and then start moving that direction, and then know if that isn't right for you, and you can always take a step back and then move over to another one. Don't jump so full hardly into a niche. It takes time, and sometimes it changes again. Okay.
True.
The next one is this is a big one for me, and I think it might be a big one for a lot of people. You can't save everybody. So everybody that comes to you, or people that come to you, some of them will be clients forever, but some of them will be clients for a little bit, and some of them just want a personal trainer. They don't want like somebody to help guide them into where they want to be. They just want to say, I have a personal trainer. They just want to do the bare minimum. You tell them exactly what they need to go. They are the people that are always late. These are the people that always have excuses. These are the people that these people you might gel with. You want to help them so much, but understand like you can only give so much. If those people are receptive to you and like listen to every word, follow your advice, I mean, come back and forth with some arguments and have some good conversations, those are the people you want to hang around. Don't focus so hard on bad eggs. Those bad eggs might not be the people you train forever. So even though if those bad eggs are the people that are fucking paying your rent, like sometimes it's not even worth it, because if they steal your energy, then what the fuck is the point?
Mm.
Can't save everyone. Try not to be Superman. Help the people that want to be helped, but again, like give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Those are mine.
Perfect, man. So that leads into mine. Number one for me, communication skills make you successful.
I love that one.
So at the end of the day, man, it's just like you have a message and you have a method and you have philosophies that you have to get out to your clientele, your athletes, whatever group you want to label them as. But they have to trust you. They have to feel comfortable with you. And not only do they need to communicate with you, but you need to communicate with them in a way that they understand and receive the message that you are attempting and intentionally are trying to deliver. So you can have this amazing program behind you and you can have all the signs backed up to X, Y, and Z, but if you cannot convey your message to your clientele, it doesn't matter. It's just a waste of space.
I'm gonna add just one thing. I'm gonna add
yeah.
one thing to that, because you know how much I love this one. I think this goes into the programming thing too, in the sense of I don't care that you have my program. I can give Terrance my program for 12 weeks. He will coach it differently than I will, and I can tell you right now that I'll coach it better than he would, because it's my program and I know how to communicate it my way. So just understand, like, the numbers and facts don't matter. How you're able to communicate and coach does, and that just goes into your thing. It's a little bit.
For sure. That even goes into how I program. It's like I know that there's certain things that I know that I'm gonna be able to break down, and there's a million ways of how you can get someone to get the same result. But it's going to be based off of how I can communicate and explain to this person, based off of where they're at, based off of what resources they have, based off of what language they might kind of understand. So there's certain things that you have to do that over time you're going to build somebody to understand this thing that you might want to get them to maybe 6 months down the road. But that takes time to get there, and that comes from you as a coach to lead this person in that direction, and that's going to be based off of how you communicate to them.
Yes.
Which takes me into my next point. My next one is your job as a coach is to be a problem solver. That just is what it is, right? People are coming to you with issues. People are coming to you with wants. They're coming to you with goals. These are all very personal things to them. And initially, you have to figure out what is this person's why. And when you figure out what this person's why, you have to figure out where they are. That's going to be based off of where they are mentally. That's going to be based off of where they are physically. And you take all of this information, and your plan is created now to help solve whatever problems that they come to you with. That is literally your job. Don't try to turn it into something else that it's not. If you are not solving the problem, then you are the problem as a coach. It's just that simple.
I love it.
And the last one is actually the same thing that I had for what I wish I knew on my fitness journey, was just the 6-month fundamental movement patterns. Because in me understanding that for myself, helped me with everything that I just said in terms of communication, in terms of creating programs for people, and just getting people to move their bodies strong, healthy, and building more well-oiled machines the same way that I did to myself. So now that I fully understand, like, me understanding fundamental movement patterns helped me completely understand anatomy so much better in the body. Like, everything made sense to me. And in that making more sense to me helped me become a more confident coach, because it's like, oh, I know exactly how I'm going to get this person to that goal. So now I have all the information and the educational tools to do so. So in me, it's the things that I really focus on the most in today is how do I continue to communicate better? How do I continue to create a better service? How do I continue to create a better community? Because ultimately, these are the things that are going to keep people coming back. The technical skills are important, but your soft skills are still technical skills. Like don't change that for something else. When I don't even like using the word soft skills, but that's just what they call it. But to me, those are hard technical skills.
Yeah.
Being able to convey a message, getting someone to trust your word. There's a lot of people that come in that have bad habits where they have to unlearn those habits to learn the habits that you're trying to instill in them. That's a fucking process, bro. Like that's not the easiest thing to do, and to be at a point in your career that people are just literally putting all their trust into you based off of maybe referrals that they have, seeing what messages that you're posting if they follow you on social media, or maybe they don't know shit about you, but whatever you did in the assessment just made them go, I need to listen to this person because they clearly know what the fuck they're talking about. And that just literally comes down to your communication skills and your job as a coach to be a problem solver.
I
So
love it.
that's my three.
Damn, I love those all gelled so fucking well, man. You thought about that. But those gelled so well. All right, let's go. Let's go into things I wouldn't change about my fitness journey. Okay, I'll go first. I only have two, and I told Terrance like I might come up with three as we go along. But to be honest, like nothing really clicked for me about changing stuff because I think this is just a more of the two things that have always been an issue for me, or things that have always been really done well. And I think the first thing is trying everything. I think the powerlifting, the bodybuilding, the CrossFit, all these different things like the jujitsu, the fucking Muay Thai, trying all these different things made me a more well-rounded fucking individual. You know what I mean? I still use things that I learned in powerlifting. I now use things I lived at in jujitsu. I do a lot of powerlifting movements. I understand the basics of what I need to do there. The bodybuilding stuff. I still have some secrets that I use that helps my clients. Like all these things and all these different kind of like styles have helped create the program that I do and the way that I coach. And I think it's always important for even if things that if you might be just a bodybuilding guy or the powerlifting guy, like experience new things because you don't know if like that will be like we talked about before. Like you don't know if bodybuilding is your niche. You might be a good bodybuilder, but you're a shit bodybuilding coach. So how can you help the general populations move better? So maybe it's a movement pattern thing. You get what I'm saying? Maybe try a little bit of powerlifting, see what they got. So, and even if you don't want to try it, like understand it. I mean, understand these different aspects. And I think that really helped me out a lot where I got like a little taste of everything. Instead of being such a generalist, that's a generalist. What's the
Specialist.
one? You know what I mean? I forgot the
You instead of you being a specialist.
Yes, instead of me being a specialist, I'm a generalist. And I think that helped me become a specialist in what I'm at. I mean, that helped me
Exactly.
find. Okay. The other one is being a shit or being shit at nutrition. I fucking suck at nutrition. I suck at it. So I hate cooking. I am horrible cook. I just want to eat to perform and eat to live. That's literally all I do. But to understand the basics a lot better or have a better understanding of the basics has helped me become a little bit better than what I am today. So like these last 3 years have really I honed in my diet and my consistency and understanding flexible dieting instead of like trying to lose weight all the time or trying to gain muscle. Like it's really actually helped me find this natural balance where I have a better relationship with food. I cook a little bit more. I know where my calories are needed. I know how much protein I need. Like understanding what kind of fuels me and understanding like what I need better of or what I can't have. Like actually, you know what? This is weird, and this is kind of a segue. I found out I'm allergic to certain bourbons. I don't know where that
No
came from. I'm 30 years
shit.
old. I'm not allergic to anything else. I break out in hives when I have certain bourbons. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. But anyway, just finding stuff out, understanding what makes me tick, understanding what helps me perform better, taking away things I don't. All that stuff was very important. And I think making excuses about not knowing nutrition made me worse of a coach and made me worse of an athlete, made me perform like at a lower level because I was like, you know what, I'm bad at nutrition. Fuck it, I'll eat whatever I want. No, like I have to actually try, be uncomfortable, try to understand things. I got my precision nutrition certification because I'm so bad at it. So like all the being bad at stuff, and it goes back to that pain thing. Secondhand embarrassment or just embarrassment for not knowing certain things have made me want to know more and gain knowledge in it because I hate being bad at stuff. And I understand that's part of the game and that's part of you learning, but I think having that pain point, like I always like to use pain as a motivator to learn. So having that pain point made me become a little bit better than what I used to be, just being so bad at nutrition. Those are the only 2 points I got.
So for me, I wouldn't change all the years I devoted to primarily strength training, even though I do think in all the years of me like powerlifting, there was still so much I learned in that. Because I really in my years of like really focusing on strength training, I built a really good strength foundation for myself. Like the quality muscle that I put on myself, really damn near being a scientist to like the squat, deadlift, and like bench movements. Um, when I did start to play around with different ways of training and different planes of motion and these things, it's like the foundation of having a lot of strength built in started to carry over and trickling over time.
Yeah.
Once I got past the point of actually learning these patterns and getting myself comfortable in certain positions. So I definitely don't regret that part of my journey. I just wish I approached it different.
Sure.
Which also goes into is I've always been open-minded and I've always explored fitness, but I was never super consistent in any areas. But I've always respected other areas of fitness with me realizing like that just wasn't my lane.
Yeah.
But I definitely tapped more into that after powerlifting. Like there was at one point where my main source of training was yoga, and a lot of people don't even know this. I did this for like 3 to 4 months straight, where
Wow.
it was like yoga. I was doing like 3 days a week. I took it as like an elective in school, and like that was primarily what I focused on. I was like learning the actual like history of like yoga in it and shit. So it wasn't even just me like taking the classes. Like it was actually me learning what yoga was about, which was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Um, like even now, like I'm doing aerial yoga, which a lot of people don't know either. I've been like this probably is my 4th week on aerial yoga now. So I've been playing in with the kettlebells and stuff like that. I've always been into calisthenics. I've been wanting to do like a Pilates class and stuff like that. These are just a few examples, but I appreciate so many different forms of fitness. And the more I started getting into training, I just kind of realized like everything is connected at the end of the day. Some forms of fitness actually just call things a little bit differently than another form of like strength and conditioning is really good at shit like that. Like some of these mobility moves that you do, it's like shit that you'll find like, oh, Tai Chi, they've been doing this for like 500 years. They just call it something fucking different. But we have some crazy like shoulder adduction, internal rotation, X, Y, and Z shit. And they're just like, yeah, this is called the scorpion. So it's just like,
I have a
yeah,
doper
we
name.
call
Like,
it
the name you gave me, I don't like it. It's called Scorpion. Fuck it. And
yeah,
we'll call it that from now on. I love it. Yeah.
yeah, that's the things that I realized just in my journey. And my last thing was I love the gym environments I've been a part of.
Nice.
Like I said, I've always been in like environments where it's just like even the gyms that I seek out for myself, like I'm not a big commercial gym guy. So when I like look for gyms to go in, it's like, all right, I'm looking for like the gym where the people that are trying to get to it um are going to. Like that's why I found that dope ass gym in Miami, Elevation. You didn't go with me
Yeah.
that one day, but that gym was fucking phenomenal, bro. Like one area was all boxing, another area was like strength and conditioning. This room was for bodybuilders, this room was for powerlifting, and it was just all under one roof, but it didn't even feel like it was too much. It was literally different sections. It was just a really, really dope gym. So like I look for those I look for those type of environments, you know, when I train, and that's always kept me humble. It's always kept me appreciative of other like-minded individuals of fitness who like appreciate and take it seriously, you know. So those are three things that I wouldn't change a thing about in my fitness journey.
So, damn. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I really hope. I really can't click on that third on my third one, but I mean, it's really cool that to see. I actually didn't know you were doing aerial and all that stuff, and like
Hmm.
how invested you are in
That's
getting
new for me.
like that. But I think it's really. I think a lot, and it goes back into the thing of like just trying new things. You know what I mean, being uncomfortable and seeing what you can take away from of certain things. Like, there's always something you can take away. Always something.
Always do.
And like it does it. I think if you don't have like that that white belt mentality, then like you're gonna have a hard fucking time doing anything. You know what I mean? So being open minded is very fucking important, especially in strength and conditioning, because you never know what you're gonna take away from something. Like a couple years ago, I would tell you that doing fucking mace training and um doing stuff with a sandbag is just fucking douchey. Now I fucking love it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you never know what fucking starts clicking for you depending on where you're at. So learn from who you can, grow your network, and hopefully like you learn from us.
Shit, bro, you didn't even like running. Like now I see you
Oh yeah,
fucking
I
doing
fucking hate.
miles and shit
Oh, I
like that.
fucking hate running. I still hate running. I didn't say I did. I didn't hate. I don't hate
Yeah,
running.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
But
think
you understand it.
I understand why I need to run. I think it's also the thing of like I have. It's the pain thing. Like I have an infatuation with making myself uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like 3 years ago, like I couldn't run a mile straight. I used to run like a quarter, half, walk a half, whatever. Now I'm running like fucking 5Ks in under 25 minutes. You get me? And it's just one of those things where like I'm starting to enjoy running in the sake of like I enjoy pushing myself in another avenue. You know what I mean? And I mean, doing the high rocks is like super fucking fun. Like all this stuff, like, I mean,
Yeah.
you never know when things start to click and you never know when you're gonna start enjoying other avenues. I still hate running, but I don't hate that as much. And now I have a better understanding of how it fits into my world, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, I think that's the difference for you too. Is like now you understand the carryover that is having in other avenues. Because it's not like you turn yourself into a runner because you're clearly
So
not like a runner. But it's just like I have this good aerobic base that I
yeah,
can do this thing, and running is literally just like a fundamental skill that a human should be able to do. You know
100%.
what I mean? So it's like if you're squatting all this weight and it's like you can't run for 3 minutes straight without stopping, it's like
Yeah,
you would want to have that capability because I'm really big on like as people we should build capabilities. We should build abilities for our body, which goes into building performance.
yeah,
So at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you should just have these physical skills for your body because that's the stuff that makes you in shape.
exactly. I think for me, it's always like if I wanted to do something, I want to be able to do it. If like just say like, hey man, like let's go fucking climb Mount Everest. Cool. Like I'm ready. You know what I mean? I always
Yes,
want to be ready for anything. Hey, like I want to go do a rucking thing. Hey, I want to go do a Spartan race. Hey, I'm tired, I'm bored. I'm just gonna go run a 5K real quick and I'll be right back. Like I want to be able to do things
yeah,
whatever the fuck I want to do things and not be so taxed that I can't function. I mean,
exactly.
I always want to be ready. I always want to, and on top of that, I want to be better for myself. Plain and simple. Thank you.
Great
Yeah.
talk, bro. Great talk. What I'm actually gonna do with this video, we can just literally cut them up in each section because they all live in their own like little world.
100% they do.
So that would be so much content out of that. That's great.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, this one was a good one. It had a shit ton of content. We could split it up and we can make this one into parts so then we can save a week or whatever like that if we really wanted
Yeah,
to.
I was actually thinking about that. That's what I was gonna see if you wanted to do.
Yeah. No, I think,
Um, awesome talk, bro.
oh,
Always
hell yeah.
appreciate your time and your knowledge. Love doing this with you.
Yeah, man. This is so
And
much. Appreciate you.
for sure, bro. We'll check you next time, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Okay. Good talking to you. I'll see you soon.
All right, bro.
All right.